Hello everyone, Loserkiller here, and today it's time for the 7th video in my Abyss MOC series, and today's MOC is named Ekin, and it was inspired by a MOC that I myself created way back in 2009, and which was called SetCU. So once again, I remind you that in the video description you can find multiple links. The first one is for the full picture gallery of Ekin, so if you want to see more pictures of him, well, you can. The second link is a link which redirects you to the SetCU gallery. So if you want to see pictures of the model I took inspiration from and what I changed, what I modified, stuff like that, you also can. And also you have a link for the instruction if you want to build yourself Ekin, or if you want to be inspired by his body frame, for example, and change some elements. So that said, Ekin is from a gang codenamed the Slicers, so like the name implies, they like to cut things, and that's really all you need to know in terms of background for this gang, seriously. And in terms of background for Ekin, well, just know that when I wanted to create this MOC, I wanted two things. First one, an articulated MOC, so really with a lot of articulation, so you can do a lot of poses. And the second point was like I wanted to include chainsaw parts. And I wanted to include a specific part, so the one which was released in Toa Onua Nuva in 2002, and which really looks like chainsaws. So that said, let's first start with the body frame, because that's really what is going to set apart Ekin from the rest of the characters I've shown you since then, because it's really a different body frame. So first, you're going to need, excuse me, Toa Metru pelvis part, so this one, we're going then to link Toa Holda foot right there, and then we're going to add the head. So as you can see, the head is made out of a slicer or robot head, depends from which region you're from, because in Europe and in Australia, it was the name of the sim was Slicer, but in the US it was Strobot. So well, a Strobot head, going to add this silver part on the back to add some more, some more spiky parts, if I can say so. And that said, well, let's move on to the part on the back. It's going to be composed of three elements. The first one is a second holder foot, which will be helpful to make the back stronger and not empty also. Also, second element is going to be this part, so with, as you can see, some spines. And the third element is this one, which is an axle with some, as you can see, parts hanging from it, from some chains. So you have an arm, for example, here, and you also have another body frame right here, like that. And I will explain that later on. It's part of the background for the slicer. Now I'm going to link these two parts together, like that. And I'm going to just move the foot like that. That said, now I can link my two parts together, my two holder feet, and well, we are done with the central part of the body. Now it's time to move on to the sides. And well, the side parts are once again quite particular, because as you can see, we're going to use a baroque shield, like that. So notice this part, which will be useful to link it to the central part of our body frame. So I'm going to link it like that. And now I'm ready to add this part. So as you can see, it's a waxy foot. And this part will be useful because this is where we're going to add the shoulders, where we're going to, yes, add the shoulders and the arms. So which looks like that. So the shoulder use this Toa Ordica neck part, which is obviously quite helpful because of its ball joint, which will be helpful to add the arms. And I'm going to talk about the arms right now, because the arms will contain two of the elements I talked at the beginning of this review, being the articulations part and the chainsaw part. So well, as you can see, it's quite simple. You have a double-sided small connector. So I choose the 2008 mold because it was it was, how to say that? It has a cleaner look, if I can say so. And it goes, and this type of look, this type of design goes hand in hand with the Ewo Factory part I just used right there. And this Ewo Factory part will be helpful because it will add more articulations. Excuse me, I kind of like a stumble of my words here, so I hope you can understand everything clearly. But yes, this part was added to add more articulations to my model, meaning that now when I move this part, it can move up to this point, as you can see, which is quite nice. And if this part was not here, the worksheet part would not have moved this far up. So that's why I added a part like that. Also, you can see the chainsaw part right there. So that was one of my ideas, add chainsaw on each of the limbs so that it's really a deadly opponent for our turn Ekin. Okay, so now that's done, we're going to add this part. So first, I'm going to use the axle molded into the worksheet foot, like that. And then going to put the axle in there to add a second point of connection and to make the connection stronger. And now we are finally ready to link the arm to the body frame. And like that. And as you can see, it's really particular in terms of design. Now it's time to move on with the legs. In fact, that's the final element of design before we move on to the articulations. And once again, it uses the same type of design which was used on the arms. So you have these two parts like that, you have the worksheet leg, and then you have some more parts, and once again a chainsaw, and finally the feet itself, which use once again a Visoac leg, which is kind of like a shape reminder with the Visoac legs used on the back of my character. I also notice that these connectors are quite nice because of their shape, but they are really the worst in terms of quality control because most of the 2008 connectors from the bionicle seam break, or at least a crack, as you can see, and so I have a crack right there. And so this means that the articulation is not as strong as if it was not cracked. So yes. And also I have obviously to be really careful if I do not want this to break. So yeah, it's 2008 and later on was really a bad year for plastic quality. And just like that, I could have broken my connector. So yes, I really have to be careful when moving around these parts. So that's really the worst. Seriously, it's really the worst. If I could, I just would have taken double-sided small connector from 2004 onwards, so the old ones which are really sturdy and strong, but because of the design I had to use 2008 ones. And yeah, it's not really good. And also the fact that there is not that much small double-sided connectors in their 2008 counterpart mold because, well, not a lot of them were released, so it's not like I had a lot of parts to take from if some of them are broken. So yeah, it's just the worst. That said, Ekin is now finished, so I think we're okay in terms of light. It's always, oh yes, also have to move this part right in the middle, and okay, like that. So that said, I think it's time for a little turnaround. So you can see the parts hanging from here because yes, in terms of background, the slicer gang, if I can call them like that, well, like the name implies, likes not only to kill the opponent, but also to slice them into different parts. And well, later on, they keep the parts. In fact, they do not like just let them rot on the floor. They keep the parts from themselves. And most of the time, that's why when you have a slicer gang member, you will see some parts hanging from its back because it shows the opponent he killed and cut in parts. and so it shows its valor in comparison to the others. And also it said that in their gangs they kind of like use these parts to sell them to the black market, but also they might kind of like to eat them. So yes, that's a little weirder. And I think the Slicer gang, I think, is one of the worst gangs from this first wave of Abyss MOC series. They are like the most brutal and the most degenerate in some kind of ways. And also I think that Ekin will be one of the fiercest and toughest opponent that Ekin will have to fight, because as you can see, and now we're going to move on to articulations, but it's really a well-articulated MOC, meaning that in terms of fighting, it can really do different type of move, plus also you can see, because he has really a chainsaw mounted on all his four limbs, even if he's just giving a kick, you will still have the chainsaw to look after. So it's really a dangerous opponent. So you can see the legs do not have any problems at all. I already shown you the arms in terms of articulation. As you can see, no big problem for the shoulders. And for the head, it just can't move up because of this part right here. But apart from that, you can move it on the sides without any big problems. Okay, and that said, I'm going to try to do a pose, because you can only do a lot of poses with this character, but when I tried to do some pose in the French version of this video, I really had, it took me like a long time to make something which did not look good at all. So yeah, if you want to see more pose of Ekin, once again, I remind you that you have a link in the video description to its picture gallery. And right now, I'm just going to do a simple pose to end this video. So because in the French version, once again, I really tried for like some long minutes to make a good-looking pose without any good results. So I'm not going to have that open again to me. And so we're just going to do some simple pose. Just going to move the chainsaw parts like that. And as you can see, because the connector is cracked, the thing just fall over. So yes, it's like that maybe. So you really have to be careful for the MOC to not fall over. And I think that's... yeah, no, this pose might look good in terms of pictures, but for the camera, it's not the best. So let me just... Or maybe I can do that like that. And yeah, I know what you're thinking, that I'm already going to try a new type of pose which is going to take a lot of time and with not especially good results. But let me just try this one. Yeah, no, okay. I'm just going to end this video because it will be once again very long and it will be really awkward for me. So yes, just let's just end this with a simple pose. Try to not break any connectors while I'm doing it. And that will be just fine, I think, because I think that you have a nice idea of what, and this connector is really on the verge of breaking, and that's really creeps me out. Oh, come on, just hold it strong. Oh. Yeah. Oh, that's really the absolute worst. Like seriously, I tried to do some pose recently with Ekin, and it was not that bad in terms of how the articulation stood. But no, it just doesn't want to work anymore. It's like it just want to let it go, and yeah. Okay, so I think we're going to end it like that. Yeah, not the best pose, but once again, you can find a lot of better poses in the picture gallery, promised. And yeah. So that said, that's all for our 7th video. I will be back for the 8th video, which will be about a MOC that I did not create myself. So not inspired by other people. No, yes, excuse me. Yes, just the 8th MOC will not be made by myself. That's all I'm going to say, because once again, I'm going to stumble at my words and it's going to add some length to the video. So that's all for this. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you if you have any comments or questions about this creation, feel free to ask them. I will happily answer them once again. And I don't really have any critics on my creation. It might look really weird in terms of design, so I can understand that not everyone will like how it looks. But apart from that, I think I kind of did like a good job in terms of what I wanted to do. This meaning using the chainsaw part and also having a MOC which is quite articulated. And so that's all. So hope you enjoyed, and see you soon. See you later. Bye bye.